Tantric sex is a different type of connection where you make sure all of your chakras...
Talk slow.
Oh my gosh. What's going on?
So tantric sex is when you connect your mind, your energy, your pains, and your hurt so that the connection is actually more healing than it is orgasmic, and that will blow your mind.
Wow.
But I love what you're saying.
You talking about the physical.
Does it end in an orgasm?
It doesn't always have to, and it's even better
But this is the
sometimes.
thing. There are people who are very sensual. You and I are very sensual.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I know for
What
me,
about me? You ain't
I
asked
need
me
it.
how many
no.
times I
Yeah,
had
I'm
sex.
like, what do you mean? We're not like...
Ain't nobody
baloney
asked
over
me
here.
nothing.
I'm just...
I require that. I require
I'm
that.
not saying that to say you're not. I'm
Yeah.
just explaining why we or whoever is very sensual wants it in
Yeah.
their relationship.
Yeah.
For me, I need it. I waited a very long time to do it, so
Yeah.
I want to do it as much as I possibly can.
And that's how you express
and
love.
that's me, and I hope I'm doing it till I'm 90.
That's
But there
how
are
I
some
feel
people-
connected.
There are some people who don't, and they're okay with that. I'm not going to judge that, though. I'm not going to judge people who are okay with not having sex. It becomes an issue if you're married to someone that is sensual, and then you're married to a person who's
Okay.
not.
Or
Then
it makes
you have
a
that
difference if
disconnect.
you're refusing to please that person or
Yes.
find their needs to help fulfill it in some way, because
That-
that is our duty when you marry.
That's the question of libido that I'm concerned about is I think it's kind of unfair if, God forbid, you do have a medical issue where you don't have a libido, which we're not saying that where you can't perform is
I
what
just
I'm
want to
trying
say
to
this,
say.
because I haven't said anything.
Okay, Lonnie.
First of all, sex is not an act. Wait, no, take that back. Sex...
Wait, what?
Sex is an act, not an emotion. Okay?
That's true.
So you have
Yes.
to remember that.
Yes.
And just
That's-
because you're not having sex doesn't mean you're not happily married, okay?
Yes.
Especially older people. At some point, they feel like sex is not necessarily necessary, you know? And it's about a partnership and not sexual connection all the time.
Not all the
You
time.
young.
And we're
You
no.
young, but wait till you get 60.
My mother is in her 60s, and she'd really beg to differ with what you're saying.
But it's a different type of person.
No,
She's a
what
different type of
what I'm
person.
saying is,
I just don't want us telling people, because
Yeah.
somebody out there that may be in a great relationship and they feel good and maybe they're not in, I don't want them to think that something is
I will
necessarily
say the
wrong
couple
with
that
them.
I'm
no,
talking
not a
about,
relationship,
they are
in a
very
marriage.
happy.
In
Yeah.
a
They
marriage.
They're
So
married.
is mine. Yes, so is
Adrian,
mine.
they're married, and they
4 of
are
them.
really
So
happy.
both of them don't require sex.
Wait a
So
minute.
that's
Maybe
the
that's why
key.
it
I'm
works.
agreeing with her.
What did you say?
I have 4 couples of friends that have been married 30, 48, and then one I actually had on my podcast, married 25 years, and not having sex, but connect
Why?
on a superbly intimate way for their own personal reasons. But I want to say this, I agree with you, there has to be some type of intimate connection. It doesn't always have to be the act of sex, but there has to be some type of romantic,
But then
intimate
who do you
connection.
share that with then if it's not your husband?
You should, no, it is your husband, but it's a
Who
different
do
She's
thing.
if you
saying the
have a
sexual
desire, who do you
desire.
share that with if it's not your spouse?
No, you have to do that with your spouse, but it has to be some type of level.
Well, that's
it doesn't
what I'm
have
not
to be just
understanding.
physical sex, though, is what we're
Okay,
saying.
what
Right.
if you desire physical sex and your spouse does not?
So that's what I'm saying. If the person's refusing and that other person
Then
is
you're
in
not
need,
fit for each
then that's
other.
not
Right.
fit for each other.
Okay,
That's what
so
we're
you're
saying.
telling me that there are people who do not want to have physical sex
Or
at
cannot.
all.
No,
Yeah.
they're
Or
just
cannot.
or just fine with
Well,
not.
that's
And
what I
they
was
may
saying.
be asexual. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know what asexual means?
No, I do know what that means.
Right.
My only question is, even if it is medical, to not try to find an answer or you get what I'm saying?
But
Being
nothing is
resistant.
wrong.
Being
That
resistant
is not okay. That's
No,
out
there
of the
is
equation.
something wrong if you have a medical problem and you can't
No,
do it.
no. There are some people that have an agreement and they're in a marriage and they're like, this is going to be our marriage. Some people feel like I done had my due.
Adrian
You know what I'm
loves
saying?
sex so much.
No,
Yeah.
it's not about
That's what it's
that.
like.
No, I just feel
about you, though.
No, I
People
genuinely just feel like, and we're being very honest here, and I
Right.
want to be blunt and honest because I know people might be thinking this, but it is very, very rare that you find 2 people who say, I'm marrying you, you're marrying me. I do not have any intention of having sex with you.
Adrian,
No,
you're taking
that's
it to
not
the
what we're
extreme.
that's not what
No,
we're
She just
so you're
told
saying
you.
there could be a
Well-
medical issue there, and my thing is,
No.
are they seeking?
No.
It's not always that, though. Sometimes, okay, let's say right now you guys are fresh, young. You guys are, what's that called? What's that word called? Spry. You guys are spry right now. So
Okay.
you're having sex and you're healthy. But sometimes...
rabbits.
Right. And sometimes life might shift things where all of a sudden the man's ability to perform might change because he's going through things, depression, pressures, something might happen. You might lose. That could get old too. And all I'm saying is there's different levels to intimacy and romance that doesn't always rely on just
let them
physical
know.
sex.
Yes.
I've said I agree with that. I'm literally saying I agree with that. It doesn't always need to be that. My husband right now is in South Africa. I'm not having sex every day. Guess what, guys? I'm surviving and I'm here doing my job. Like, I don't want to take it that extreme. Like, I get that point. What I'm saying is, for someone to say that they no longer want to have sex, or is it that they no longer want to have sex with that person? Is it that it's boring with that person? Is it that you don't connect anymore with that person?
That's different. Our main question was,
different.
do you need to have sex to be in
Can
a
a
happy
sexless
marriage?
marriage survive?
I don't
So,
think
girl,
long term that it can.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
saying
believe,
that,
You
but-
think it will go
long
outside
term. I
of
think
the
at some
marriage.
point, if there is absolutely no sexual activity for years and years and years, I
Okay,
actually
Jeannie.
do believe that they
Adrian,
will go outside their
Jean,
marriage.
You're not wrong in that thinking. I think in any marriage, if you don't have matched expectations, person is going to go somewhere else anyway to go find.
Yes.
And
But
it
I
doesn't
do
make it
have
right,
one
but
important
that's what you're talking
question,
about.
Yeah.
though. Can I ask one important question?
Yeah.
It's
All
for
right.
Lonnie, because you didn't answer this question.
You ain't asking me none. I'm sitting
How
here
many
listening to you
times a
have
week
some-
do you have sex?
I want to know.
Lonnie, it's daytime, Lonnie.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, kids, don't do this at home. Now, when I was single,
Did you have more sex?
no, I had less sex. 'Cause
Okay.
but as I got older, I started having less sex. But when I
Okay.
was like your age and young,
Lonnie, answer the question.
But now that I'm in a relationship, it's
Yeah.
a healthy relationship, I would say we do it about twice a week.
Okay.
Hey.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I
Honestly.
think that's healthy. I also want to put
But-
this out there, because Tam, I had to come to you and be like, yo, I'm tired.
Yeah, that's
And,
totally
and,
normal.
and there is other intimacy that I have experienced where falling asleep naked, holding each other, kissing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Or
That's what we
cuddling.
were talking about.
Yes.
the
But
intimacy.
I have moments like that. I'm talking about.
she won't let it go.
No, because
There
I
are people
have.
that are
I
not
think
having
the key
sex
is.
and they're married.
Yes. I think the key is what Jeannie just said. It's what you expect.
Yes.
If I expected that we are going to have sex, and you know this about me and I know this about you, now at any point, if one of us changes our mind, and it is not for a medical reason, because if tomorrow my husband suddenly couldn't have sex with me, I'm going to live and I'm going to love him.
Okay.
And that's a medical issue, and we're going to work through it, and we're going to figure it out. That, like,
Then
let's not be ridiculous, but
But if you decided all of a sudden to tap
But
out
if
and say, I don't want to anymore, and he's like, I've got
let's
needs.
say there's a medical
A
issue.
lot of marriages are like that.
with me. Let's say there's a medical issue with me. And let's say that medical issue can't be cured within a year. Let's say it's now 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Uh-oh.
That's just me. I feel that would low-key be unfair, but that's just me.
So are you saying you'd let Israel go to the wolves
I
and get
wouldn't
it thought
prefer
on?
that, but if this doesn't work, I hope something else does.
Oh.
But
Listen,
I wouldn't.
plenty
But
of sex.
again,
But see,
that's
what I mean.
intimacy.
I'm going to challenge people here. Just because I do think we live in a very sexual environment that always promotes to have sex, every song you listen to, every commercial, it's
You
always
mean
about sex.
intercourse.
So I just, for intercourse, yeah. So I challenge people that if you're in a serious relationship with somebody who would like to tap into a deeper part of their mind and would like to learn another side of you and how to stroke certain sides of you without having to deal with that, try tantric sex, get to know your persons.
Can you Google that?
Yeah, there's tons of books that actually say all the ways that you can connect with somebody. Now, it may lead to sex if you can't control yourself, which has happened in my life, but they do breathing exercises together
If you
that
really-
are so sexy.
Even if you really study sex, when you are doing sex, usually the act of sex is you trying to get off and the other person trying to get off, and y'all like kiki and go to sleep. Even in tantric sex, you match your breathing and just alone the eye
So
contact
dope.
and the breathing to let your heart sink
I
up.
do that when we're eating, James and I. We like,